All right. Hey, everyone. Hope you're enjoying the winter break and having a good time and was able to spend some time with family and friends. But as we begin to kind of transition closer and closer back to school, I want to pay particular attention to Market Day that will be at the end of the first week back, so January 11. And for some students, depending on what they chose to sell, there might be significant work that needs to be done. So I just want to send this video out to you to give you some guidelines, some discussion points, some actionable items that you, the parent, and your child can kind of sit down and work through to make sure that they can be successful January 11th. So let's jump right in it. I have this sheet here to help guide us as we talk through a few things. So the first one here is talk with your child about what they plan to sell. Hopefully this has already happened, but if not, why don't you have that chat, or maybe it's good to just kind of double check that you guys are on the same page. And remember, you're the boss. The parents are the boss. You guys get to choose if something is not right for your family, either financially or for time reasons, or the amount of work that it's going to take to pull off. So talk with your child about what they plan to sell and if they plan to work with anyone. Make any last-minute adjustments that you may need to make. I had an email just a couple days ago from a parent, and they were asking for approval to change what they were going to sell, and I said, hey, whatever works best for you and your family, go ahead and do that. Okay. Once you have nailed down exactly what your child is going to sell, make a list of what needs to be done. Make a little checklist, make it on a piece of paper and put it on your fridge, whatever you got to do, so that you can just say, okay, we got this one done, we got this one done, what can we do next? So you can just take little chips away at it. I don't like to give a lot of stuff that has to be done at home because I know all you families are busy and so on and so forth. But that's one of the reasons why Mrs. Philippi and I don't give much homework. There's a variety of reasons, but thank you in advance, or maybe not in advance. Thank you for taking the time to maybe spend a little bit more time on schoolwork at home with your child. I appreciate it, and I think this will be a worthwhile experience for them. So the next thing is communicate with your child's partner's parents. So if your child is working with somebody else, connect with those parents, make sure, divvy up the tasks so that your child's not doing everything, divvy up the responsibility of buying any items that might need to be bought, so on and so forth, so that you can close any gaps and avoid any overlaps in regards to what needs to be done in order to be ready for market day. So communication is huge. So be communicating that progress is being made and that people are sharing responsibilities. Okay, the next thing down, discuss how much supply your child should have. This isn't an exact science, but here are the numbers I have given parents in the past. So this year we have 361 students at Bursley, and I expect about 250 to 300 of them to shop at Market Day. Now, in the past, a lot of times the kindergarten classes haven't come. Just because maybe it's overwhelming or whatnot, but in efforts to try to get them to come to and shop, I'm creating a 20-minute window for only kindergarten and first grade teachers and classes to come down and shop. That way maybe they can feel a little bit more comfortable that they're not mixing with the big kids and getting trampled. Maybe it'll make the teacher feel more comfortable too, that they can keep track of their littles. So maybe we will have more shoppers than I anticipated. So with that being said, if 250 to 300 of them shop at the market, I also estimate that each student will bring maybe $2 to $3 on average. And so most of the items will be priced at 25 cents or 50 cents or $1. There will also be about 20 different vendors selling products. That might actually be more than that. There might be more closer to 30 vendors. From this information, you can decide together how many of the 250 students or so will buy from your booth and how much those students will spend. So you got to assume that not every student that comes is going to buy from your booth. Some will be repeat customers. Depending on the price of your product, if it's cheap, 25 cents, you might sell a lot of them. I don't know. And understand that if you're selling something like cookies or brownies, there might be 2 or 3 other vendors that are selling the same thing. Kind of gauge from that what you think. The biggest thing that I worry about is having students and parents spend all this time preparing and creating all this stuff and then being left with so much inventory at the end. But I do have an idea of what we could do with that as well. So I might potentially hold on to some of those items into the next week on Monday and have a table set out and maybe a parent volunteer or something, and we'll just put stickers with the numbers of the booths, and then people could come those next few days and buy anything that's left. So that might be a possibility too. So make a plan for when you plan to make your goods. If this is something that needs to be made. So if you're producing something, like if you're painting rocks, or if you're going to be making cookies, painting rocks you're going to want to be doing already. You're going to want to be getting into it and chipping away at it. Baking cookies, you probably don't want to do that yet, because the cookies probably wouldn't be very good in a week and a half. So just plan accordingly. If it's going to take a lot of time to do, start chipping away at it. And then the last thing I have on there is, 2 more things. Set a time to go out and purchase any of the raw materials you need to make your goods. So if you are doing some form of baked goods or whatnot, set a time with your child, when you can get to the store and get those things so that you're not waiting to the last minute to get it in. And then the last thing there is check in regularly with your child to make sure they're making progress. Ultimately, I hope this is a student project, not a parent project. So yes, a lot of the kids can't necessarily, if they're doing a baked good, run the stove on their own without your supervision, but I would expect them to be involved in making the cookies. That's a valuable learning lesson, to learn how to, do some of that baking and cooking, and if that's what they want to do. There's not like, hey, Mom, make me all this, or Dad or Grandma or whoever. I want them to be a part of it. This is a valuable opportunity, too, for them to experience failure too. So if you notice they're not, putting in their due diligence and they're expecting you to do everything, encourage them, remind them, try to plan with them. But ultimately, if they continue to put off and pause and not put in the effort, then that's kind of a choice they make, and they're going to reap the consequences on market day. And they're going to experience that failure a little bit, but that's a valuable learning lesson. So, again, like I said, please don't feel like you have to get everything prepared for your child so that it's perfect. You just need to be that coach, that pusher, that help plan to make sure that they're getting things done and moving towards their goals, but that they should be doing most of the work. So hopefully that makes sense. I look forward to a great market day. I have a bunch of volunteers already saying that they'll be willing to help out, so I think it's going to go off without a hitch. And if it does, we'll deal with it. We'll roll with the punches. But thank you again in advance for all the hard work you're doing to make this a success. I really, really, really appreciate it. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at jscoma, jscoma at gmail. No, let's change that. You can do it at jscoma@gmail.com. That's fine. But my school one is jscoma@jpsonline.org. So either one of those, I guess, is fine. And I'll try to clarify anything for you. So enjoy the rest of your break. hopefully the kids are getting ready, and I look forward to seeing everybody again soon. Peace out.